Hello, Jim here. I've been a options trader as well as just an investor for many, many years. And one of the biggest reasons for my success and being able to earn a lot of extra income is the ability to find really good companies at good prices. Today, I want to talk a little bit more about that. I want to share with you the tools that I like to use and give you some real time examples on how I typically find the companies and decide how to make the trade. So stay tuned. I think you're going to really enjoy what I have for you. Okay, now let's imagine it's a trading day. I typically won't get on the market till about 10 a.m. You can get on earlier. Sometimes I will just to do a little bit of research, but typically I get on about 10 a.m. There's all sorts of research related to, why you might want to do that. I don't have time to really go into that kind of detail. I do believe it matters mainly because of when the hedge funds get involved, when the brokers get involved. And I have just found a good starting time is usually 10 a.m. So before that, I'm working on client software. I'm doing different things. And then usually at 10 a.m., the first thing I do is I'll bring up Schwab and I'll look at the watch list to see what's going on. So, and I have favorite stocks. I also have favorite ETFs. I'll see who's down. Like here you can see Meta's down. Campbell Soup is down. I don't really trade with Tesla anymore, Aflac. So just the fact that those companies are down, I would probably look at them. A lot of times, like I'll click on it, I'll go into Met, then I'll come down, and one of the first things I do is look at earnings, just to see, well, when are earnings coming up? So here we can see earnings on coming up in a little over a week. So I probably would not do a trade with them. With it being a week out, I'll wait. I'll be patient. I'll make a trade potentially if Met is still around the same value. Now, the exception to that, and there's always exceptions to all rules, if Met is trading at its 52-week low and it's diving and it just is a great price and I can find some really good premium, I might make the trade. But I've been really diligent about avoiding earnings, so I typically won't. Now, being that it's earnings season, this coming up week is the busiest week of earnings. I have changed my process a little bit, so I might even start with Seeking Alpha's earnings calendar, and usually I'll start with that particular day, who's doing earnings, like literally on Monday we've got SAP, Verizon, Truist. There's quite a few companies that will be doing earnings, and you can see, is it pre or post? I can see year over year, what does it look like growth wise for earnings? I can see, enough information for me to make a decision. Now, if it's pre-market, I typically, by that point, they've already made, their earnings. So I'll look on Monday, what's happening with Truist. Should I make a trade with them? I currently own some. I have some covered calls. If it's gone up quite a bit, I might roll my covered call, all depending on what's occurred with it. If it dives majorly and I still want to own more, it may give me an idea to go ahead and maybe put a vertical put credit spread or cash secured put on them. They're not real expensive. I think they're around $40, and Verizon's like 30 or 42. So if a stock is really, really cheap, a lot of times I might do a cash secured put. When they're really expensive, $100 stock, $200 stock, I typically do like to do cash secured puts because they can drop so much. A 10% drop on a $200 stock, it's $20. So in those instances, plus the fact that the market has been so high, I just think buying protection is really important and a good way to go. So I'll look here, get some ideas, and I'll go back and forth between, the watch list to make some determinations, to get some ideas of what different companies I want to look at. Now, another tool I like is Barchart. So I'll also go out to Barchart. One of the first things I like to do is I'll go into options and then I'll just look at most active options. Now, you can see the top 25 if you're looking at the free version. If you're doing the paid version or the premium version like I do, I can see all the way down. I think it's up to like 500. And you can see here, well, let's change this to main view. And so I can see the options volume. So you can see what the big boys are doing. You can see if they're up or down. You know, if it's a stock I'm interested in, like I've been keeping an eye on Amazon. If Amazon gets into the 170s, I might look to sell a put on it or a vertical put credit spread in the 160s. So I'll get some ideas here. Like here's Super Microcomputer. I know some other YouTubers will trade in that. I stick to my guidelines. I stick to my rules. One of my rules is I don't invest in companies who are losing money. They're losing money, but they do a lot with Bitcoin. So I know they're collecting Bitcoin. So even though they're having a loss in earnings, I won't invest in them, especially if I don't understand them. I don't understand their business model, which I don't. Now the exception to that is Mara, and I traded in Mara just as to get an idea of how that works. They're a Bitcoin miner, and they keep some of their Bitcoin, and I've done okay with that. But again, I'm still kind of learning. But you can see here's Ford. You know, it's down. I might also want to sort up here and see, well, who's moving. Of course, CrowdStrike got hammered because of the outage across the world on Thursday and Friday. I believe most of that is rectified now, but you can see Tesla. You know, there's quite a few different Caterpillar, Chubb. You know, both are two companies that I do like to keep an eye on. And then there's also the ability to do an option screener. And I'm still learning how to use this, but there is one screener that I set up. And I like to use this where I have ROI. If we look at the filters, I have it set up for return on equity, debt to equity. You know, I don't want a company to have too much debt. So, and I can also change these. I could say, well, I only want low to medium debt, so I could change that. I only want good, strong max or top 1% of what Barchart's, you know, their opinion strength is. And then there's all sorts of criteria. I could say what kind of delta I want to look at. Or do I want to look at calls, puts? So quite a bit of information you can put here. And you can add a lot more. This is just the tip of the iceberg. And then I can go back and look at the results. And a lot of times I will sort by mid, and I'll just see what, you know, it seems like it's the same companies a lot of time, but, you know, NVIDIA, ARM, TSM. I did do a trade on TSM recently. So I find I don't find as many opportunities here, but a lot of times if I can't find something on Seeking Alpha, then I will go to bar charts, and I've begun to use bar charts a lot more. I do like, you know, how you can drill down, and they provide a lot of information too. So I really like they have a cheat sheet you can use. So they have trading strategies, opinions. This cheat sheet is really nice. And you can kind of see at different prices what kind of averages they're crossing, and, you know, where resistance is. It turns out to be a very good tool, and I end up using it quite a bit. But a lot of times I will come back here. You know, I can also look at favorite ETFs, and I do share these with my membership. I usually on a monthly basis, I will export these and provide them so that people in the membership can have access to them and can load them, you know, for their own watch lists. So here I'll also look at ETFs, like XLE is one I like to invest in a lot. All of these I do. These are, of course, my favorites. So these are the primary tools. If you are curious and want to learn more or give them a try, I do have links in the description. I am an affiliate, so I will get a bit of a kickback if you commit to them. Just want to let you know that up front. I am going to, in the very next part of this video, I'm going to share with you what I actually post after I do make a trade, so you can kind of get a feel for that. And as always, if you want to take a look at my memberships, the details are in the descriptions or in the description of the video. Please hit that like button, subscribe. You know, I'm trying to get the word out. I want more people to understand that this isn't, if I can do this, you can do this. It's not that complicated, and I like offering an alternative to a lot of my competitors who are very, very expensive. I allow people to kind of get in, have access to me at a very reasonable price, very reasonable. So might be worth your while to take a look. Let's jump into the next section of the video where I'll share with you what it looks like when I actually make a trade. Okay, now this is my Patreon, and everyone gets access to my Patreon membership. When you get the higher level, so this is the Investor Club. Then when you go up to the Traders Club, you also get Discord, and you get access to what's called the Trader Club meetings, which I actually have one tonight at 8 p.m. And then the highest level is Coaching Club, and you get everything else from the other two levels. In addition, you also get some one-on-one time with me. Ends up being 2 sessions each week. I say 15 minutes, but they typically last 30 minutes. And, I expect people to kind of go back and forth. Sometimes people may sign up for the coaching and then they don't need it any longer, and they go primarily to the Traders Club, or they may go back to Investors Club if they don't have time to do a whole lot of trading. But this is what Patreon looks like. I typically will share my planning worksheet, which I did that today. Here's just a reminder about the Traders Club meeting coming up. And then I also post my videos when I make them. I also do a lot of posting on the platform that are only on the platform. So the Traders Club meeting, even though the investor group can't be there, I do post it, and they can watch it after the fact. So here's a trade I actually made, and if we go into it, this is TSM. This is the Taiwan Semiconductor. I found them a while back. I probably have done 2 or 3 trades. So this one, they had earnings this week. So this is one example of where I did use Seeking Alpha. I did find them that they were having earnings, and they did get hit kind of hard. And I made a trade after earnings when they were already down. So, I did 140, 130. And typically what I do is I'll put the details in here. I'll actually show an image from the brokerage. This one was actually within Fidelity. And then I will literally post it to the membership, and I'll post it both here as well as on Discord. So if you look at Discord, and I'll show you where I post it for that. So for Discord, I actually post it Uncle Jim's trade. So you'll see the same trade was also posted here. And you can see I have people who are doing 0 DTE trades for their privacy. I'm not going to click on it. One of the traders did really well this past week, and I want to maintain his privacy. I haven't had a chance to ask him if he wants to share any of this. Then there's trade discussions where people talk about different trades, general information. There's quite a bit here. So anyone who's in the Investor Club, it may be worth your while to up it and give the Discord side a bit of a trial. So I just wanted to show that. I typically put more information in. I also talk about why I like the company. If it's a covered call, I might also mention what would be a good price to get in. I talk about return on investment, year-over-year earnings, how much debt they have, and quite a bit of details. One thing I am looking at, I am a firm believer in ChatGPT. I'm looking at making an agent that will condense all this information instead of having to go to 3 or 4 tools. I'm going to create an agent down the road where all the information is pulled automatically, and I'll have a widget probably in Patreon, or I may have it on Discord. I'm not sure if you can do a widget in Patreon. I am pretty sure you can do it in Discord. So something I'm looking at, being able to pull everything from one place, including the chart, like having the Bollinger Band, and then, more details, return on investment, what their debt equity ratio is, what their year-over-year earnings, plus any new information that might have been released. So that's something I'm looking at. So as always, thank you for joining me. If you have questions, please leave a comment. I try to answer most, if not all I probably answer all the comments. and I tried to do it within 24 hours. So I encourage you, leave a comment. I do like to start a nice dialogue, even, on YouTube with my subscribers. So thanks for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next time.